A lot of people are feeling really stressed and anxious right now about the coronavirus crisis. So let's look at 6 strategies that can help us cope a little bit better. There's so much uncertainty right now, and uncertainty invites worry. Now, worrying can feel a lot like problem solving or planning, but worrying is different from these because the things we worry about are usually outside of our control, and so there is no way for us to solve them. And when we worry, we're usually worried about things in the future. If we knew what the future would bring, we could try to plan for it. But right now, the future is so uncertain that there's nothing definite that we can plan for. And if we try to plan for everything that could happen, we find ourselves trapped in an endless cycle of what-ifs. And so worry, rather than easing our mind by helping us solve problems or make plans, just leads to more worrying and leaves us feeling even more anxious. And so rather than worrying about all of the uncertainty that we can't do anything to resolve right now, see if you can be a little more accepting of some uncertainty in your life, because that's how things are going to be for a while, whether we like it or not. And if you find it hard not to worry, I have a couple of videos about how to worry less that you'll find in the playlist I linked to in the pinned comment. Having so much uncertainty in our lives right now can cause a great deal of stress and anxiety. So it's natural to want to try to resolve this uncertainty by gathering more and more information until we can find all the answers. But the problem is most of the answers we're looking for don't exist. Information about COVID-19 is constantly being revised as we learn more about it, and no one can predict what the future will bring, how long this will last, and what the world will look like on the other side of the pandemic. Trying to keep up with all of the information out there can be overwhelming. And so in the process of looking for the answers we hope will relieve our stress, we can end up making ourselves even more stressed. So it's important to find a balance between staying informed and overwhelming ourselves with information overload. And when there's so much uncertainty, having to make decisions can be extremely stressful. And we're facing a lot of important decisions right now related to the coronavirus. And unfortunately, we don't always have enough information to know what the best decision is. And in a lot of cases, there really isn't a best decision. And instead, we're left with a bunch of options, each with their upsides, and unfortunately, each with their downsides. And no type of pros or cons list is going to make any one of them the clear winner. But if you keep putting off making a decision until you're sure you're making the right one, you're never going to be able to make a decision because you're never going to be able to have that certainty. So make the best decision you can with the information available and know that whatever decision you make after weighing all of the options is going to be a reasonable one. And that's the best you can hope for amidst all of this uncertainty. And it can be really helpful to learn to accept that things are going to be stressful for a while, and that it's okay to be feeling some anxiety. And while acceptance won't automatically make everything better, learning to accept the things that we can't change or control, like the effects of the coronavirus crisis, does tend to lower our stress and level of anxiety. Now, acceptance can seem counterintuitive, but when we don't have the option to change something, accepting it is more helpful than fighting against something we have no control over. And no matter how much we wish it weren't so, struggling with the consequences of COVID-19 is going to be our reality for a while. And so we need to learn how to accept this. And if you'd like some tips on how to practice acceptance, there are a couple of videos in the playlist that I linked to in the pinned comment that can help. But while we don't have control over a lot of the things that are going on right now, if there are things that you're struggling with, see if you can do some problem solving to come up with some solutions that work better for you. So for example, if you're not used to working from home, it's so easy for your work life to blend right into the rest of your life. So it's like you're in the office 24/7 with never any downtime for yourself. Or working from home can be so distracting that you find yourself procrastinating a lot and have trouble ever settling down and getting started on your work. Either way, it can be really helpful to create more structure to our days and set aside distinct periods of time when we're working and when we're off work. And if possible, to even have a dedicated workspace to help delineate the work part of your day from the rest of your life. And parenting can be particularly challenging right now due to lack of childcare and schools being closed and activities like camps being shut down, which can make working from home extra stressful and even more stressful if you're a single parent. Children do much better when they have a routine, and so do parents. And so it'll take some strategizing and trial and error, but anything you can do to establish routines and structure in your children's lives is going to make both of your lives less stressful. And a lot of couples are struggling to adjust to being cooped up with each other all the time. It's completely natural to need some alone time and want to spend some time apart. So be proactive about it. And make sure to talk with your partner about what each of you need right now and find ways to accommodate and support each other, rather than waiting until the stress builds so much that you're fighting all the time. And finally, and most importantly, make sure to be kind to yourself and practice self-care. We're all going through a hard time right now and doing the best that we can. So try not to be too discouraged if things aren't going exactly as planned. And make time to do whatever helps you relax and unwind. And look after your physical and emotional and mental health and well-being. And it's okay to be feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed right now. But if you're finding it hard to cope, consider reaching out to a professional. There are plenty of therapists offering video counseling right now, so you won't even need to go inside an office or meet with someone face-to-face. And if you've been feeling depressed or isolated during the pandemic, my video on behavioral activation has some great tips that can help. And check out my stress and anxiety playlist to help you implement some of the ideas from this video. And please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments.